Hello, and welcome to Renaissance Knowing Your True Self. I had posted something on social media yesterday, basically saying about imposter syndrome. It's real. And why I'm saying that is because I realized that I have imposter syndrome. Didn't know it was a thing, I've heard of it, whatever. Someone very close to me actually sent me this video, and I watched it, and that's when it hit me like a ton of bricks that is what I have. There's so many things you can connect the dots in your life, the way you act, the way you do things, the way you think. And now I've always talked about a lot of things from my past, saying this is what it is. This is what I had been conditioned with. Now that I've acknowledged it, now it's the stuff to start moving towards towards my potential. And when I say this, I'm not just talking about myself, I'm talking about everybody else, right? How many of us are actually suffering from imposter syndrome? What is imposter syndrome? Well, what it is highly capable, very efficient people who underestimate what they bring to the table. They underestimate their own abilities. It could be from so many things. It could be from childhood. It could be from constant people putting them down, whatever it is. So always they have the feeling that they're not going to be able to do well. And then they feel that they will be exposed as a fraud or an imposter. So case in point, it's happened to me a few times where, let's say I start a new job, and I always had that fear inside of me thinking that I don't know if I will be able to do that good of a job, and it's going to be very obvious to the people that hired me that I'm not good at what I do, and so hence I'm a fraud, right? It's a real thing because I've sort of heard it, but it was for the first time that I was able to connect it to myself. And now I realize that that's why I attracted a lot of the wrong people, thinking that, someone can say something really nice in regards to personal development, in regards to whatever, and I would latch on to that person thinking that I got a lot to learn. But in the process, I put myself down. And there were a lot of cases where now when I realize it, I realized that I was way above them in capability. And I'm not saying this as an opportunity to brag. This is not a bragging session. The thing is that this is something real that a lot of people suffer from. Women specifically, because we're constantly being put down. We're trying to be perfectionists. We're trying to get everything right. So that feeling of inadequacy, everything just sort of stays with you, and we just don't know how to own our own accomplishments. We don't know how to own our capabilities, right? I mean, I've seen people that are not as good as me, and they just seem to rise up, do really well for themselves. Why? It's because of the confidence that they have in themselves. So this is real. I mean, like I said, I just realized it yesterday, and it just threw my head around in bonkers. So as an example, being in IT, I realized that I don't market myself well enough. I don't promote myself well enough. Why? Because I feel like I can't do it. I don't want to apply for a higher position because again, the same thing. I don't think I'll be able to do it. And yeah, they might let me go after because I am not good. It's the imposter syndrome again. But I have to look at, and it's something for everyone to think about. Look back at the past and look at all the achievements that we have done. Things that maybe seemed impossible and we were able to do it. If you could do it then, why can't you do it now? So they always say, don't look at, the past, you're not defined by your past. You got to look to your future. And yes, I do that. But when we talk about past, not the past of the bad things, and the things of being sort of stagnant. It's more of, I know I can do this because I see this in my past. But now I want to take that and propel myself to the future because I know that there's a lot more potential, a lot more opportunity, everything waiting for me. That's how we should be thinking. Right? So for all of you who are going at it in silence and still feeling you're not good enough, maybe take this time to revisit the fact Do you have imposter syndrome? Do you always see people come back to you with solid performances, everything that you're doing and you're accomplishing, and you still have that feeling that you are not good enough, that you're not capable? Very likely you have that. I'm not a psychologist, I'm not a doctor, nothing like that, but it's just when I read it, it just hit me. And now I can connect the dots, because the problem is highly capable people, what happens is they latch on to people who are less than them, and then they bring themselves down because of that. So take that, own your accomplishments. Women, again, specifically, I'm talking to you. Own your accomplishments and move forward. If people have bad things to say, take that with a grain of salt. See if there's any value in that criticism. Maybe some things are always good, feedback's always good, but don't take that as a way to undermine your capabilities, what you bring to the table. My goodness, I am like so passionate about this now that I've realized it. It's like this explosion kind of went in my head. Own everything that we do. And some ways I've read about on the imposter syndrome is it's a lot of self-talk. It's going back and thinking of your accomplishments. It's the self-talk and telling to yourself that you are capable, that you can do things, and don't let anybody bring you down. Number one, don't let anyone bring you down. And this is the product of actually being by myself a lot. I have had this problem with the quarantine and staying home and things like that. But I've also feel like these moments of growth have happened because I haven't been interacting with a lot of people. I've just been mostly by myself. And all these little mini discoveries and growth have been happening. And actually, is it growth? Yeah, some growth, but I would also say it's awareness of self, more awareness of self, which is so, so important, because only when you know yourself, you can take yourself up to the next steps. You can navigate and what you want to do in life. I don't like it when personal development is not reading a book. It's not listening to a podcast. I mean, it's all of those things, but it's spending that time with yourself. It's taking all that information and doing the work within yourself silently, having these little thoughts in your head, and you're focused on yourself and looking at trying to be the real you, right? Knowing your true self, being you, owning yourself is being you. When you push your accomplishments aside and you try to think that you're not good enough, you're not being you. People can call it humble or whatever. It's not. You're just actually denying yourself. Own yourself, pick yourself up, get to know yourself. That is what knowing your true self is. That is what personal development is. Understanding things and being aware, and then learning things, and then taking those things that you've learned and then moving forward. Hope that helps, and we will talk another time. I got so much to share on so many other things, but I just wanted to focus on imposter syndrome today. Have a great day. Mention it, in the comments. Are you suffering from it? Do you realize that? And let's have a discussion. If you want to private message me, please feel free to do so. Take care. Bye-bye.